Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan M.S. Pearce. This is a Ukraine War Frontline update, didn't know what I was doing, for the 3rd of April 2025, and the last time I did a Frontline update was on the 31st, so it's a sort of 3-4 day update. Quite a number of changes, most of them in favour of the Russians, although there are also quite a few sources saying that Ukraine have made some gains as well, so it might be into grey zones. But certainly not looking great for the Ukrainians in a number of places, but that's mainly Syriac maps. Kursk is looking typically, more and more challenging for the Ukrainians, and the Russians definitely inside the Ukrainian Sumy region now, around Bezivka, south of Novenka there, but closing up the Kursk sectors, this northern one first, and then there's some area left in that southern part of the Kursk sector. If we have a look at here, that's the area we're talking about. You see that road coming up there. This is the understanding that the Russians are pushing down in this direction, and that there's a grey zone in a large area. This basically area here is a grey zone. That's actually what Andriivka has, and this area is under control of the Russians. But that's that large area just there filled in and up to the blue line. So Andriivka's previous defensive line was on those pink pins, and his now Russian defensive line is on that blue line. But this is likely grey area here, whereas Syriac Maps has that fully under Russian control. So certainly a bit of a difference there. Now, this source says recently the enemy tried to break through in Yanukivka in the Sumy region, but the attack was repelled. So that's a claim that the Ukrainians repelled that attack. Poulet Volant has a pretty challenging look at this area. So we were just looking there at that road coming down this area up here, but a tiny bit of area north of the border there, and a larger area over here. But you can see the Russians really pushing everywhere and trying to push right into the Sumy Oblast. You can see that the Ukrainians are under an awful lot of pressure there. And then we have the attack into Belgorod. Russian maps of the Belgorod region show Ukrainian troops occupying several kilometers of the Russian border. This is from the north of Kolotilovka, to the west of Popovka. Fighting is said to be taking place near Demidovka. Again, it doesn't seem like that's under control of the Ukrainians as previously claimed. Same with Popovka as well. So fighting in this area of Belgorod, not too far away from where we just were. You can see that Andriivka has this as almost certainly grey zone. The Ukrainians somewhat further back from there, but nothing too extensive having been gained there. In fact, I was looking at, I'll probably bring this up now, I was looking at including this tomorrow in the hits and losses. Let's just find that for you. Yeah, so here we have it. This is War Vehicle Tracker giving us an indication of some abandoned vehicles in the Belgorod region. These are Ukrainian vehicles. We have, I think, a Bradley, a few BMPs. You can see all the cope cages around these, and the extra protection that they have been adapted with. But they are all from the Belgorod region. That's an M88. I think that's an engineering vehicle. M2A2 Bradley, BMP 1TS, and another BMP 1TS. So, yeah, they've evidently lost a few bits in Belgorod. And here, War Vehicle Tracker says, abandoned Ukrainian vehicles in the Belgorod region left damage from the failed March offensive into Belgorod. And this is the idea that actually, and I'm not sure I disagree, I don't think this has achieved too much. And there are some people saying, well, is that the end of attacking over the border? If you can't make significant gains there, then that's probably a sign that the Russians have done a good job of sealing up the border to stop attacks, at least to, you can do well if you're going to throw, 10, 15 massive, units, brigades or whatever at this, but just throwing in 2 brigades and hoping for the best, I don't know. I don't know if it's just they bit off more than they could chew, or whether that was all part of the plan and there was some kind of tactical, maybe operational objectives that we're not so privy to. Okay, so that is that neck of the woods. We're going to come down now past the Kharkiv, 2 sectors that have seen no change again, to the area around Kupyansk, this time further south from the Dvorichna areas and up further north where we've seen some gains. Russians making some gains around the south, to the south of Dvorichna, and also coming on towards the southern end of this whole sector here before you get to Kupyansk itself, with Andriivka claiming the Russians have got some gains north of Kalinove. Surat maps some further gains on top of what was already a more charitable interpretation of what's going on there. In fact, I don't know, do we have... yeah, so that is Dvorichna there. So Ukrainian forces have destroyed a pontoon bridge across the river crossing there. The Russians were building over the Oskil River near to Dvorichna, so I don't know exactly where that is, but you've got Dvorichna there, you've got the Oskil around here, so destroying a pontoon bridge somewhere around there, and then we get further down to the south. So a little bit of a concern that the Russians are still pushing there. No change to this Pischany sector, and in fact claims that the Ukrainians have taken or are fighting around Lozova there in the Barova direction, Borovska as it calls it there. I'm fairly sure that's where we're talking about here. Yeah, you got that forest area there, or is that... No, that is actually a river, a reservoir, or sort of large pond, sort of lake thing. The claim here is that the Ukrainians have advanced in the Lozova area. I'm just going to try and put that on the map here. So that is around here, which, as you can see, this is going to be another case of going into the grey zone, taking back territory, but not really changing my map because it's a synthesis of 2 defensive lines for the Russians. And as you can see here, the defensive lines come right down sort of here, broadly in line with Andrew's mapping there, not agreeing with this whole area just to the north here. So you've got a big section there that Surat Maps has under Russian control. That is not what is agreed upon with that map. So anyway, some gains for the Ukrainians inside the grey zone there. And then as we come down to the sort of Tourney area, north of the Tourney area, around Balka-Zharavka, we've got some smallish gains, but still, you know, fairly consistent going on there. Now, here's another area of the front line where there's a significant difference between the mappers. You can see the blue of Andriivka saying that's where the Russian defensive line is, and then all around here, Surat Maps has the Russians having much more control. Really quite different mapping between the two in that sector. Okay, and likewise, a huge difference between the 2 mappers in the Siversk area as well. Just completely different interpretation. And then we can see no changes to Chesivyol, which is good news for the Ukrainians. Some small gains for the Russians in the Turetsk area, as according to Surat Maps there. Not hearing anything else from any other sources particularly. Really, the only sources I have are discussing what's going on closer to Prokrosk over here. We do have some claims that the Russians are moving. Again, the second time this happened in my last mapping update around Oleksandropil and Pentelymanivka there. Both mappers showing some gains. Andriivka agreeing with a previous change from Surat Maps to some degree, though not in full agreement there. Right, then Prokrosk, again, you know, we have some blue pins, so that's good. This is, again, a place where the Ukrainians are really pushing. What do we have? So the Ukrainian armed forces have entered Zeleny settlement there, and we'll put that on the map. So here you can see Andriivka showing that the Russians have been pushed out of Zeleny and now along the south, along this river there, pushed to the other side of the Zeleny River. Some gains there for the Ukrainians, so that's good news. And then when we come up here, we're going to go to here, Zverove, first. Although there is no change to my mapping, you've got Surat maps and Andrew has, the Russians at least in this area, but Surat maps more widely controlled by the Russians. Grayskull has the Russians pushed out. That's the area that Andriivka has now pushed out of there completely, according to Grayskull. The AFU has liberated Zverove there, coming right round here and basically all across there, control for the Ukrainians. So that's good news, although it's not recorded on my map. And actually, the Russians pushed right back into Pischany there and quite a long way from that railway line. So if you see the railway line there, so it is pushed back there. I think again probably more in line with Andriivka, but disagreeing with him around there. Andrew has some small gains around Kotlina. I think I've got some stuff on Kotlina. No, this is again going back to Zverove, where you have the Ukrainians pushing there towards the southwest. Sorry. I think that's elsewhere. So there was another claim I saw about Kotlina that the Ukrainians are pushing there still. There's a fairly thin neck here that allows the Russians to still supply this bit of infrastructure. I don't know if it's mining or if that is anything to do with agriculture. It might be grain there. That could be like grain or coal. Who knows? But anyway, that appears to be under control of the Russians, but they've got a very thin neck to keep supplying that, so they'll have to watch out for that. And some gains around Zeleny as far as Surat maps is concerned, just a minor bit of gainage for the Ukrainians as they have pushed the Russians back there. Then we have where is it? I'm just going to find the next update. Yeah, I was right. It really is exactly there. So here you can see Novo-Alexandriivka. It's quite a long way from Uspanivka there, with the Russians, according to Surat maps, in control of Uspanivka, and according to Andriivka, not in control of Uspanivka, that's likely grey zone, and the Russians actually further back in Novovasilivka. We have this map from Kolibri.93 saying that Ukrainians have cleared Novo-Alexandriivka, and indeed it's much more like Andriivka mapping here, but the idea was that the Russians were still somehow clinging onto this area there. None of my mappers have that, but there's quite a difference of opinion between Surat maps and Andriivka there. But the Ukrainians pushing, again, it's all happening for the Ukrainians around that part of the battlefield. Everywhere else further to the south seems to be bad news for the Ukrainians. Indeed, there was a claim from Tim White earlier, I haven't actually got it up, that the Ukrainians might be in a bit of trouble here around Konstantinopil, which is an area that they'd countered in and retaken some land, both in Andriivka and Konstantinopil. We'll get there in a second, though. First of all, some more gains, fairly significant gains for the Ukrainians around the Zaporizhia village area. Sorry, for the Russians pushing further to the west. And Andriivka sort of catching up somewhat, but again, this is another area where there's a really significant difference between the two mappers. Andrew not being quite so charitable as Surat maps there. And we come down to Andriivka, the Russians making these huge gains down that road, as according to Surat maps, and then some significant gains further to the south on the road that comes out to Konstantinopil. Grayskull here says, on the other hand, the Ukrainians have counterattacked there, and this is from April the 1st, we're on April the 3rd now, but counterattacking north of that first road up here. So that is in this area, and if we go and look at the colours of the fields here and whatnot, you've got that bit that comes down in the road. That's really what we're talking about. So that is around here. So gains for the Ukrainians there, not signified by either of the maps. And in fact, Surat maps really claiming that the Ukrainians have been under a lot of pressure here. Tim White was saying, as I said, that there could be some Ukrainian troops surrounded in this area as the Russians are advancing down these roads. So it just depends who you refer to. And then some small gains for the Russians, as according to Suret maps around Zeleny, which is on the northern tip of what was the Velika Novosilka sector, but they're a long way now from Velika Novosilka. So I would say somewhat challenging mapping for the Ukrainians. They're also losing some more ground around the Piatikhetki area, not too far from Mali-Shibaki, where the Ukrainians have been under a lot of pressure. And this is after the Ukrainians have been sort of counter-attacking down towards Luhove previously. But, interesting that some of these areas you'll get attacked from one side and then just across into a few fields further to the east or west or north or south, then the other side is attacking and making their own gains. So, quite dynamic sometimes in these different areas. Right, that's the end of the Frontline update for today. Broadly speaking, a better mapping update for Russia than the last two. It's just really interesting to wonder how much the Ukrainians have in reserve and whether the Russians have this accumulating, whether they are accumulating these forces to go in April. That was a claim I shared with you from the commander of 3rd Assault Brigade, 1st Assault Battalion, I think, in the 3rd Assault Brigade. He was saying that they're looking at the Russians attacking in a major offensive in April. That's going to obviously be late April, I presume now, or something. It could be tomorrow, who knows. But we are in April, so that's not going to be, if that's true, the claim we'd seen previously was that Russians are going to attack in summer to late summer. Various claims from various Ukrainians about the Russians attacking in a number of different places along the front line and with differing numbers of personnel. So who knows? But the Russians might have something up their sleeves still. Okay, thank you for watching. Appreciate that. Take care and I'll speak to you soon.